So what's Imake a difference? Our company, for those of you who don't know, is called Imake. And last Christmas, over a few quiet ales down at the viaduct, the bank manager, Matt, was there, who'd just been to Africa and just been involved in meeting up with some of the people that we're supporting, and got quite passionate about it as well. And the more we had to drink, the more we thought it was going to be a good idea to do something about saving the rhino. As a company, we'd raised funds for the Christchurch earthquake, and we'd managed to raise $50,000. Salvation Army towards counselling for people who've been stricken. And we thought this would be a great cause to get behind, and so we do something about it. And first thing in the morning, I went and hit Hamish up and said, "Remember last night, Hamish? As a group, we're going to save the rhino." And he's like, "Oh." He said, "Don't worry, I'll ring Dottie and she'll fix you up on that idea." So, but yeah, it's gained quite a lot of momentum as the team's got together and are really behind it, and a lot of them have put time in their own time into it. We've got quite a few here tonight, and I know Ingrid works well into the night, many nights getting stuff ready for us, and the girls have gone frantic today with my last minute demands, which I thank them for. But it's for us, we wanted to use our business contacts, suppliers, and our customers, because we sell to a lot of we're an international company. We sell to 7 or 8 different countries. We've got good distribution networks. We've got good suppliers from all over the world, and we buy quite a lot from China. So it's actually quite a good thing for us. We're only quite a relatively small company, but we have quite a big reach. And so we kind of thought, one, we'll raise money, but two, we want to get the message out about the rhino problem, because very few people knew about it even just a year ago. And it gives a reason for our team to come together. It's been a lot of fun. And we want to do more than just develop and sell a product. This was a little hard to explain to Hamish to start with, but we got around in the end. And it allows us to give something back. So so one thing I didn't mention there is that we've had a whole lot of support from people outside of our company as well. Philippa's here? No. So Philippa Fee, she gave her time to organise our trust for us. So how are we saving the rhino? It's great to have a lofty idea of saving the rhino, but how the hell do you do it? There's the problems. The more we looked into it, the problems are huge, and it's got to be a we worked out very early on it has to be a multi-pronged attack, and we're only a little New Zealand company, and we can only raise so much funds. And we're actually surprised. We raised $140,000 in the first 3 months. That was over in South Africa. You multiply that by 8 now, so it's quite a lot of rand which we've managed to get together. So we still wanted to not just focus on one thing, so we focus on a lot. First is security. So the Zapring project, which is the area that we work in Zululand, which is north in Natal, below Swaziland. It's bordered by sea one side and Gauteng the other side, I think. And so it's I don't know how big it is. It's maybe 250 kilometres long and 200 kilometres wide, and it's a combination of private, national parks, community land. It's all sorts of interested parties have animals, and quite a lot of them have rhino on there. So, but up until 3 years ago, they've all worked individually, so they'd all have their own security, they'd all have their own, some people would be doing research, and you'd find the same research going on in another farm next door, and NGOs are in there. There's a lot of NGOs working there. A lot of them are wasting their efforts because they're not being directed properly and they're not being coordinated. So Project Rhino KZN, which is it's like a neighbourhood support group for a game farm area, came into place, and the Zapring project is the baby of Project Rhino. So what Zapring does is it provides air support for all the farms in the area. So every farm gets supported by the Zapring project. So it's an umbrella thing that brings everything together and also gives them all a degree of daily checking their fence lines. The planes are up and down in dawn and dusk when the poachers are coming into the park as a deterrent. They also take when they know that something's going to happen, they're able to get the helicopters standby so they can react quickly, or they can get the people into the bases quickly, or they can get the tracker dogs in there quickly. So we support this. We pay one of the pilots' salaries here. It's a drop in the ocean of what they need, but it's a significant drop in the ocean. When I rang Sheila, who is looking after this, and told her that we were going to support their project and we were going to pay the project of the salary of a pilot, she broke down in tears on the phone. And I didn't know what was going on, but she'd been lying us wait for a week trying to work out how to keep Etienne, which is their top pilot, employed from January next year. And I I gave her this news in July, so she's thinking about that far out, because he's probably the best pilot for the area. His father grew up in the area, he's grown up in the area, he knows this area inside out. He's been involved in Zeppelin since day one. If he left in January, it would be a disaster, but he's got a family, he's got wife and kids to feed, so they need salaries, things like that. So no one wants to pay salaries for pilots. They'll buy a plane, someone, bank in Germany will buy a plane, or they do this or that, but they won't pay a salary. We also look after, we pay for Rhino monitors with our Adopt a Rhino program. That gives security around the rhinos. We pay for a tracker dog. But the Minyuana Conservation Fund is probably our most effective thing, because it actually pays reward for information that leads to arrest to catch poachers. We pay anything from 40,000 Rand, which is $5,000, to about 100,000 Rand, which is dollars, for information that leads to an arrest. $10,000, sorry. So, or $12,000. So it depends on the quality of the information. So to date, we've caught the people behind the operation have caught 7 different groups of poachers, taken them out of the picture. They're all arrested, they're all in jail, and they were all caught before they caught a single rhino. So it's something of a record. If you look at stats in South Africa, in Kruger National Park, I think that there's 444 rhino killed up till yesterday, and there were 68 poachers caught. In KwaZulu-Natal, we had 68 rhino killed and 48 poachers caught. The difference between the two numbers is that all of the poachers in KZN were caught after the fact. And so we've not only taken the groups out, taken them out before they've killed a rhino, we've also taken out the subsequent kills that they would have made. So the guys on the ground there, they're claiming probably 36 rhino have been saved from that effort. And the thing is that people now know that KZN is a tough place to come. So the other thing we get involved in is education, because a lot of the people around the game parks have got no idea about how valuable, what a valuable resource it is. That they just see this as a source of meat, or a source of income for a very poor, poverty-stricken area. So we're involved in quite a lot of education. A third of our money goes into the education. We've been doing the school bush camps, where we have school bush camps set up, and they bring the kids from the local schools into there. Year 6, they visit the school. Year 7, they bring them into camp for 4 days. Year 8, 5, 6, 7. So year 7, they then go back into the school and do a survey with them. So they get quite a lot of exposure. That's been really successful, and they do that around the difficult areas around parks. Then there's establishing wildlife ambassadors. This is an option for when you left school and you're looking for there's a lot of unemployment. There's probably 90% unemployment in the areas around the game parks. So they're trying to build up school, this ambassador thing where they teach them all about the wildlife, and they very, very in depth, and then they hopefully go on to get jobs within the game reserves, and they're trying to make that as a aspirational career move for people, which is really very effective. And this is also a very cheap way of operating. We pay Spinesi's salary now, and we're the first foreign person that's paid a conservation liaison officer. So he was really pleased to have that. We also took laptops, second-hand laptops, and we took our work projector over unbeknown to Hamish when he asked for it today. We donated it to Africa. Don't worry, we're getting another one. Kind of thought it was time for an upgrade, but so that's so effective. You have no idea when they go into a village. The poverty around these villages, they've never been to a move. They don't have things that we have. When they've translated the Lion King into Zulu. Now the Lion King, I don't know how many of you remember it, but it's all about the circle of life, and it links every animal to its. And they're playing this on the wall of the church with 100, 150 adults and children coming around watching it on a Friday night, and that you've no idea how effective that is for saving or getting people to change their idea of how they perceive wildlife. We see education as a cornerstone for future-proofing what we're doing currently, because if we just keep on paying rewards, we're just going to keep on doing that forever. If we can't get... one thing I've missed really is that a poacher doesn't wake up in Mozambique and say, I'm going to go down to KZN today and I'm going to get myself a rhino. It's a well-thought-out, well-planned thing. The guy in Mozambique's got no idea where the rhino is. So he doesn't know where the rhino are on the farms, he doesn't know which farms have rhino. The people that know what's going on in the farms are the school kids and the people that live around the villages. and people that work within game parks and the game ranges, the people there to protect them, all those people, and there's a leak of information from those people back to the poachers. They get a reward for it. There was even a known situation where a young kid, a 7-year-old kid, pointed out to a poacher where he'd seen a rhino and he got a can of Coke and a bag of crisps for it. And at the other end of that rhino horn is worth $250,000 to $300,000 US, and the kid at the start gets a little can of Coke. So we've got to really change that attitude and it starts with education, and it's not going to be happening from the government.